Frustrating, huh?
Hello everyone, Seskinator11 here, and this is my Resident Evil 4 Professional Difficulty No Damage OSP New Game Run. And this is part 7 of the run right now, of 10. We're nearing the tower. We're heading towards to where the puzzle is going to occur, where you have to shoot the wooden planks out of the gears in order to turn the tower appropriately. And that'll allow us to get to that structure over to the right, where Ashley has just been taken. But yeah, folks, this segment specifically right here was not too challenging in my opinion. Everyone seems to be cooperative, and you can basically skip all the guys out here in order to save ammo. And what's nice is that you can use the catapults to kill those guys as well. So I kind of wasted a bullet right there, but I had no idea if that would work or not. So now we're on the inside, and what you're looking for is you're looking for 3 wooden... they kind of look like 2x4s stuck in the gears up there, and 2 of them can be reached from where you enter. The third one is at the very top, where you read the note telling you on your first playthrough that there are 3 wooden beams stuck in the gears. So if you're familiar with the game, it's pretty straightforward at this point. And what I'm looking for right now is looking for more ammo, ways to stock up, because I know that the next section is no cakewalk. And I'm not talking about this section right here, because there's a way to manipulate the enemies and exploit them with a dynamite guy. And I'm talking about the section following this one, where you have to fight 2 of the Wolverine dudes, and one of them seems to be a bit more armored than the other one. So it's a little tricky. And you're going to be seeing me use the Magnum for the first time in that section as well, because typically what I would do is I would use the rocket launcher to at least kill one of the Wolverine guys, because if you fire it in between them, it'll kill the weaker one, and then it'll severely damage the other, so that way you don't have to use as much ammo to kill him and put him down. But we have to avoid that strategy, because I saved the rocket launcher for Salazar, because I hate that boss. I hate him with a passion. But that boss will be in the next video, and we'll talk about that a bit more that time. But yeah, I'm just looking through the crates, and the coins are a little bit unlucky, but there seems to be a bit too much coin to pick up. And I would prefer if, obviously there were more ammo in those crates rather than coins, but alas, it is what it is, and it's RNG at times. So yeah, we're coming up on the very top platform right now, and what you'll see is to my right, there's going to be the final wooden beam that's stuck in between them. And it's a bit too far to use your knife, I believe, unless somebody knows some sort of knife tech to save extra ammo. So you activate the lever. The tower's been moved, and enemies are going to spawn into the room, as you can hear. And they're all archers right now, so you have to be very careful, because the archers have superior aim on professional difficulty. And I think they have superior aim on normal as well, but they may not be as aggressive. And this guy just totally ignores me because he's got a bow and arrow, so he tries to make his run out of here, but I go ahead and knife him. There's a guy down there to my right, as you can see through the gears, and I'm trying to get my aimer on him, but it doesn't seem to be working. I can't remember if I'm actually able to get him or not. And yeah, I give up. Such is the nature of this game. It's okay to give up and find a better shot, as long as it's not too risky. Because, yeah, we don't want to be taking damage. And look at that right there. There's a dude right there. I don't know how I didn't get hit with the bow right there, but that was miraculous. But you saw how close that arrow was to my face. Oh my goodness, Leon almost took it right in the nose. He probably felt the wind brush against him. But luckily we didn't get hurt. And I think this is the last bow and arrow guy, or crossbow guy, before we press on. So yeah, folks, it's moving along, and you know, today is now Tuesday. 2 more days until I get the motherboard. I'm slowly counting down the days because I'm very excited to build this PC finally. And once I get that back to where I was before, where essentially the PC was fully constructed, graphics card and all, and we tried to start it up, me and my friend, but we got to the point where the computer wouldn't start up as the motherboard was not compatible with the core processor. So hopefully we can go back to where we were pretty fast and then take it from there either on Friday or Saturday. So I'm going to have to reach out to him and let him know. And that's all dependent on if the motherboard actually arrives on time on Thursday. But fingers crossed it gets here on time. But yeah, if you see here, folks, I use the dynamite again. I manipulate this guy to kill the enemies down below me, so I don't have to use any ammo, and I don't even need to use the knife on them. So that worked out to our favor, which was very nice. And there's one more bow and arrow. I keep saying bow and arrow. I apologize, folks. There's one more crossbow guy down there. So I get him on his knees, on his feet, and now he's on his back. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. I should have just went over and knifed him, but I guess I was looking for another crossbow guy around the corner to make sure I didn't get hurt. So luckily there was not, and we took him out relatively fast. So now we're moving on, pressing on, slowly but surely. I'm checking my corners, and now we get to another checkpoint, where there's 3 shielded guys in front of us. So I go for the save point. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to equip my shotgun. So that way we can make quick work of the shields in front of us. And it actually killed one of the guys, which was very nice. A base shotgun killing one of the guys, it's unheard of. So yeah, now I knife this dude to soften him up a little bit. Now you do another suplex. That guy is still alive. He's, whatever reason, he's a beast, and he will not die. Now he's finally dead. We go for another suplex. And he's still alive, but I might have confused the 2 guys because they look the same. But yeah. So I drop another quick save to get the checkpoint, even though, in theory, I could have just exited the door and come back, but I'm being very cautious and careful. And then we make our way across the bridge, which is going to initiate a spawn. This spawn can be very tricky at times, folks. But luckily, I get grabbed by this guy from behind, and you actually take no damage when you get grabbed by him. That was 100% planned, by the way. No, not really. That just turned out to be very lucky. So what I'm going to do is I'm knifing this guy, and I'm very upset. You saw me gyrating because I wanted one guy to come at me at a time. Because in my previous attempts, where I was able to kill these 2 guys, one of them came at me, and the other did not, so I was able to knife him. And now we have Mr. Wolverine dude coming at us. Luckily he goes for the wall, so I equip the Magnum, so we can damage him relatively fast. What's good about the Magnum is that it can go right behind him. It can pierce through him like that. So 3 shots with the Magnum, he's down. And that's the weaker of the 2 Wolverine guys. So now I'm reloading my weapons so that way I'm all set, I'm ready. I'm not running because I don't want to aggro this guy. So instead I go for the bell. and that distracts him. I go for the shot in the back. That's one shot to the back. Now he's doing a little swirl, a little twirl there with his claws. And that's a missed shot right there, which I absolutely hate, but alas, the successful attempts are always the messy ones, as I said before. So, I go for another back shot. I hit him again, which was not on his back, but it puts him down on the ground. One more to the back. And I think I use all my magnum ammo here, but I could be wrong. No, I go for the incendiary. And then, what do I do next? I go for the magnum. Okay. Yeah, one more magnum shot, and we have one magnum round to spare, which is not too bad. And 0 shotgun ammo, too. So what I do is, since the gate is now open, I exit this door to get a checkpoint. Be careful. Immediately quick turn and get out, because you don't want any trouble from those enemies on the other side of that door. And then we're going to pick up some ammo here, but more guys will spawn behind us. And I believe there are 3 or 4 approximately. So I'm going to try to get some good knife tech, knife slashes on them as much as I can. There's the 4th guy to my right. I believe he's hanging out in the hallway to my left, the hallway that kind of branches out in a C, the letter C, and that was very lucky right there. See that? And luckily I had some iframes coming out of the quick time action, and the guy didn't grab me. And that's the worst, when you get a first aid spray on a no damage run. But alas, such is RNG. Alright, that guy's down, and now we have a clear way to get to Salazar's right-hand man. And this part can be a bit tricky if you don't know what you're doing, folks. And I remember as a kid, in high school, playing that part, and I was scared out of my mind, because this boss coming up, he looks like a xenomorph. Like he looks straight up out of Alien, and his tail looks kind of like it too, and his mouth is a little bit similar. But it's really freaky running away from this guy. But what's nice about checkpoints is that it removes the nerves completely. So unlike in a 3 make on Inferno, you actually get to do this comfortably, because you know there's a checkpoint prior to that, right when you enter the room. And don't get me wrong, the checkpoint is pretty lengthy. And by lengthy, I mean that it's a long segment relatively to the rest of the game. So you have to be on your toes. But yeah, so now we're down in the pit, where Salazar throws away his degenerates and, you know, all the people he hates and the people who's double-crossed him and made a mistake with him. And luckily you'll see some wonderful magnum ammo there, which we're not actually going to use at all. We're going to save, because this boss fight coming up requires 0 ammo. And I'll show you why. Because a common technique for this boss is to freeze him in that very first room, and then use the rocket launcher to destroy him entirely. That's a very common speedrunner's technique. But because this is an OSP run, because we want to do this with base weapons, and no visits to the shop in terms of upgrading weapons or buying new weapons, we're going to do a slightly different technique. And I'll explain the technique as we go, but again, it's not something that I discovered for myself. I take no credit for it once again. In fact, I probably take 0 credit for most of the techniques in this game, purely because the game has been out for 15 years and, you know, I did not discover any of this tech. This is me, by the way, getting annoyed at the bats. Luckily they don't damage you at all, but I just wanted to knife them instead. So hopefully you get some entertainment like I am, knifing the bats. And of course this had to be on my recorded run for whatever reason, so apologies if you get bored. I don't believe you get anything special from the bats as you do from the crows, so there's really no reason to knife them. But yeah, be sure to pick up that crown if you want to collect all the treasures, and I believe there's 2 attachments that go on the crown to make it worth more money. So definitely be sure to pick up all that stuff. And the grenade, of course. Now one thing I want to keep, I want to be transparent about. See my ammo right now? You're going to see a little bit of a discrepancy after I save. And the reason being for that is that I had to re-record the boss fight with Vertigo, Salazar's right-hand man. And the reason for that is because I was not satisfied with the original recording. What I used was the door glitch, and it's a very common glitch where Vertigo continues to run at the door that you're hiding behind, and he runs at it for the entirety of the 4 minutes, I believe, that you wait for the elevator. And it's a very cheeky way to get past that boss encounter without doing much or without using much skill. But I didn't want to record that kind of run, so instead I use a different technique. It's a very common way to loop them, if you understand how to do that. So I recommend trying it if you can, and getting the timing for it. It's not very difficult in my opinion. So what I do now is I put on the Incendiary Grenade purely because Leon runs just a little bit faster when he has that equipped. A very common speedrunner's technique. And I make my way down the hall. About right now, you're going to start to see some QuickTime events go on the screen. With the tail coming down, see, that's totally a Xenomorph tail. Totally. So, I grab the shotgun ammo, and I'm running for the switch. He's going to do one more attack. And you're going to turn the power to the elevator back on, where you're going to see that it takes about, what is it? 4 minutes, that's right, approximately 4 minutes. Wicka wicka, 4 minutes, wicka wicka. But yeah. So immediately I'm running to the door, and what you're going to do now is he's going to drop down, run right past him. Sometimes he'll do an attack or a quick time event, so be wary about that. Knock over this first liquid nitrogen tank, which is going to freeze him. Now, my instinct, my habit that I usually do is whenever you use a tank like this, you want to automatically damage him. But that's actually not recommended for a run like this. The liquid nitrogen lasts a pretty good time and it slows him down significantly. So you want to keep him frozen in this state for as long as possible. And in order to do that, you don't touch him at all. So now the door's open, I'm making my way. And if you heard that, that was him breaking out of the liquid nitrogen. So now he's going to come dashing towards us. And here he is. Knock the second cylinder down. And now he's frozen yet again. So now at this moment, folks, we're going to run all the way to the door where the elevator is. And this is where we're going to use our little loop scenario here. And in my opinion, this was a little bit more impressive than simply waiting behind the door for the glitch. So you're going to see me wait right here, very patiently, and if all things fail, there's a liquid nitrogen tank to the right of us. So keep that in mind. He just broke out of the ice just now. He's running towards us. I close the door. I kick it open. Wait for him to hit it once. You're going to see it vibrate once, but I was a little too early on that one. But yeah, see him tap it. You see the door open just a little bit, and he does a backflip as soon as you kick it open. Another tap, kick him, he does a backflip. Wait for the tap, kick him again. See, there's the loop right now. This is perfect. So we have him in the loop. Sometimes it can go wrong. I mean, if you're not quick enough on the door kick, he could break it open, because he usually breaks it open on the second hit. So be sure to always kick him as soon as you see that door vibrate once. And we're getting it, folks. That's the loop. So if you haven't seen that before, It's pretty fascinating, isn't it? But yeah, it requires some timing and a little bit of skill, but not as much as if you were going to run up and down the hallway and dodge them every single time with quick time events. That's a bit too risky, especially for a no damage run. So I recommend doing something like this. I mean, you can always do the run up and down the hall technique, but, you know, it's a bit more complicated and it can get very frustrating. But by all means, if you have the dedication to do something like that, do it. And that was weird just then. He didn't do the flip. There you go again. So now we get the loop back on. So the important thing here is just to stay concentrated. The minute you let go of your concentration, you can break through that door. But again, it's not very demanding of the player, it's just being sure to kick open the door at the right moment. It's so funny rewatching this footage too, because this seemed like 5 seconds to me. It didn't seem this long. Because I was just so focused, I was so in the moment right now, I was so grounded that I didn't even notice what the time was. And when I was waiting for him while he was running into the door for the glitch, it seemed so much longer because I was just standing there doing nothing. But I didn't want to have that on this run. And there's the elevator. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here, wait for him to break open the door just to be safe. And I knock over the cylinder to freeze him. If I wanted to, I could have probably just run to the elevator now that I'm looking at this footage again. But instead I'd be safe. And that's it, folks. And now you're going to see me have a handgun instead of a grenade coming out of this cutscene now. And that's purely because I re-recorded the footage. So you can see right there my footage right after this. And I'd drop a save right there, just cause. If I ever wanted to do that segment again, I could. But yeah. And there's the handgun, the in-continuity. So I apologize for that. So now we find ourselves in the mining section of the castle. This is not the minecart section, but it is the mine section. So I think what I do here is I lose an incendiary grenade because I like my shotgun ammo too much. Or no, I think I get rid of the I get rid of the incendiary grenade. That's what I do. I was having a little conflict in there in my mind, deciding which ammo to keep. So it becomes tough when you have that rocket launcher, I'm telling you. And of course you don't have the upgraded attaché cases or anything. But yeah, folks, this is a little downtime. That boss fight was pretty intense, but the pacing in this game is miraculous. I love it very much. So, as I have been saying before in my previous recorded runs. But yeah, it's incredible. I don't know what they're going to do for the Resident Evil 4 remake, but I know that they're not going to make it this charming and this awesome. So, but yeah, times are just so strange these days with COVID-19 and what's going on in the world. And what's interesting too is that there's a lot of conflict between friends. Because if one friend believes and does not believe in COVID-19 and just doesn't give a crap, the other friend could get offended, you know, and it seems to be a lot of what I'm hearing nowadays from clients. You know, this conflict between what is true and what is not. But coming from a public health and mental health background, I can tell you right now, folks, that this is no joke. People are dying. People are, you know, suffering in the hospitals, especially, you know, elderly, kids, adults, you name it. Everybody all around are getting ill and sick from this disease. And some people can come out just fine, but others, it can be fatal, okay? It can be really fatal. And it's a shame what's going on right now, folks. And naturally, there's going to be people who don't believe in this and don't, they could give two shits about it. Like just the other day, I saw, workers outside before they were going to go in to work on a house together. And, they didn't seem to be family members. They seemed to be just coworkers, and none of them were wearing any masks. And they were all having lunch together, like within 2 inches of each other, it seems. So, there definitely are people who don't give a crap about this. It's just a shame. I mean, the facts are there. People are convinced that it's some sort of scam and it's, a conspiracy. The government created this illness for population control and crap like that. But I don't believe any of that. Yes, take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with critical thinking and be sure to apply that to everything you hear. Don't believe everything you hear the first time. Check it with your facts. Do your background checks, everything. That's my recommendation for everybody. Have your own opinion too. Voice your own opinion. I'm sure there's going to be people who have great arguments against the coronavirus, but it'll be very hard to believe that, though. And yeah, there are ways to still be together outside, especially since the weather is getting nicer. And if you live in a place like I do in Chicago, Illinois, the weather here is basically 10 months out of the year is winter, and the other 2 months are summer, hot and humidity. So there's going to be ways of moving forward. And what was interesting is I saw a lot of pictures that my wife showed me from her work and of other countries and what they're doing. And it's so fascinating. In Asia, there are people hanging out in parks, and they actually marked the ground, circles 6 feet away from one another where groups of people can sit in parks, so that way they're not interfering with others. And it's really fascinating. And I'm sure the United States is going to get there. I'm sure there's going to be states that are doing that, and hopefully Illinois will get there as well. But yeah, it's just fascinating. Just this new lifestyle that we're living and what we're forced to do and what we're forced to adapt to. But we will come out stronger, as many people have been saying. As people, as individuals. Through this experience, it can only make us stronger if we come out on the other side. Which is a huge belief of mine. Putting yourself in that discomfort zone for a little bit, even for a long time, can help you become such a strong person in general. And, we can learn a lot from video games too. Like a challenge run like this, or other challenge runs. For instance, the Godfather Dictator doing his no damage on Master Ninja difficulty for Ninja Gaiden 2. That took a lot of coming out of his comfort zone to do. At first, he didn't even like the game. He refused to play the game because it was not his cup of tea. Which is hilarious. And then he goes out and does this no damage run on it. It's just fascinating. This right now is pretty nail-biting. But for whatever reason, I was very confident. Maybe it was because I just got a checkpoint right before this. But I wasn't too worried about it. Because see, look what happens now. Boom, just as I kick that guy. You couldn't get any more impeccable with that timing. Which is why, as I said before, and I keep saying again, I'm in love with this game. It's just so freaking awesome. It's one of the best games ever created. You can shoot the dynamite out of the guy's hand, or you can kick him away and wait until it ticks down and blows up themselves. It's just amazing. But yeah, the goal is we're heading to that switch over there to turn the power back on in order to get the dynamite that's inside the cart. And there's actually a speedrun tactic if you have a grenade, and if you throw it just perfectly at the boulder, you can actually break open the boulder without the dynamite in the minecart. Which was very fascinating the first time I saw that. Because my friend and I were watching speedruns of this together, before all the COVID-19 nonsense. And every year we always watch an updated speedrun of this. And he showed me the speedrun recently, and it's been a speedrunner's tech for a while now. Again, this game has been out for 15 years. But people are still discovering new things. It's really amazing. It's so amazing what people can discover. And you look at these tactics and you're just like, how in the hell did you figure that out? And I wasted a bit too much handgun ammo there, but such is life. We move on. So I go for the switch right now, and this is going to trigger the chainsaw guy in this area. And there he is. Gosh, even as an adult, even as a 30-year-old right now, chainsaws will always freak the hell out of me. It's that noise they make. Whenever it revs up and turns on, I always feel a chill going down my spine. Every single time. And if it's anything that will get me in haunted houses during Halloween, it'll be whenever the chainsaw guy turns on his freaking chainsaw and chases you out of the haunted house. It always gets me. Yeah, I'm using an Incendiary Grenade to control that crowd over on the stairs, and I automatically equip the shotgun to push back the chainsaw guy. It's so amazing that every single time you fire the shotgun at the chainsaw guy, it will guarantee a knockback like that. Unless he's in the animation of getting up. But yeah, every single time he'll be knocked back. Which is so great. The mark of a balanced game. And I could probably run past these guys right now that I think about it, and save a lot of ammo, but I like killing the enemies. You know, that's the fun part about this game, is killing the enemies, even on an OSP run. Which is probably not a good idea. You know, it's highly recommended that you save your ammo. But, alas. I'm having fun, I'm killing the enemies, I'm enjoying the game. It's one of the beautiful features about it, so we're going for it. But yeah, you can see how much of a tank this guy is with the base upgrades. That's me going for a cheeky knife slash to his head, but I totally miss. Because I get a little too scared. And I believe he's dead now. And there he is, yep. There's the pesetas. So now we're able to get the dynamite. But of course I'm worried that this guy's going to throw an axe at my face after I did all of that, so I'm being cautious. So luckily he did not. We grabbed the dynamite. And now as I approach this boulder, they're going to throw something at me, which luckily doesn't get me. Look at how close that was. Did you see that? Look at how close that was. If that would have hit me, I wouldn't have gotten the checkpoint, and I would have had to repeat that whole section again. But nothing is as bad as 3-Make was. Having to watch Carlos dad jog around that entire freaking hospital every single time. That was the worst segment, by far. And this is me getting a little bit afraid. You can see me going up here, and I was debating whether or not to go through the door to get a checkpoint, but there was only 2 guys. So instead, I just wait and knife them as they come up the ladder. And I'm also going for the extra handgun ammo, which is very useful, because luckily that handgun ammo does not despawn, since it was within a container. So now I go for the cheeky knife slashes. And he's down, and as you can hear, the music has now died down, indicating there's no enemies around. And we are able to press on. And be sure to hit these crates on the left, because sometimes there's always, I'm not going to say always, but there's some magnum ammo there, and you're going to need that for the fight coming up, because the El Gigante fight in here, one of them is designed to be a tank, because the other goes down into the lava pit to compensate. But yeah, I'm wondering how much ammo it would take to fully down the two Gigantes without the lava pit. And that's me trying to analyze the map to see how much longer I have with the castle. And we have a good amount of areas left to do. So, including the wonderful cave, the bug cave, which I absolutely hate. So leave that ammo there if you're full here, guys, because again, you can always pick it up later. And that's just a first aid spray. I was expecting there to be a more magnum ammo here, but I guess I was imagining things and my memory was kind of off. So don't worry about that. Alright, here comes the El Gigante. He almost stomped me to my death, so be very careful. And now I'm grabbing the pulley system, going down. Or the zip line, I should say, not the pulley system. And what's interesting is that the lava is designed not to get both of the El Gigantes, for whatever reason. But what you need to be careful of is that the El Gigante in the center, who's in the lava, can grab you and pull you in with him if you get too close. So be very careful when you're running by here. Wait until it fully... See, look at that right there. He just popped up and tried to grab me. That was very close. But yeah, be careful of this guy. Watch out as he slams the ground. Keep baiting his attacks. And I use a full magnum clip. And now I use a grenade to stop him from charging. And now he's going to expose his Plagas at us, the parasite. So I'm going to get a cheeky magnum round into him, so that way we get some more damage, because this is the weakest point that he has. And then we knife slash him. But yeah, this guy is a tank. He takes a lot of ammo. So that's another grenade. I used a full magnum ammo clip. And we're still chiseling away at this dude. But I do like the outfits that they put the El Gigantes in. This guy's got some sort of, he's ready for COVID-19, this El Gigante. He's got his face cloth on, he's got his mouth covered. He's all set. He's ready to go to the grocery store and do some shopping. Granted, he's going shirtless, which I don't know if that would be ideal, but he certainly got the mouth covered. But yeah, it's so funny, guys. But look at how much this guy takes. It's hilarious. Look at how much rounds he takes. And I'm sure with the rocket launcher he goes down in one hit. But yeah, good lord. Luckily he kept pounding the ground so he wouldn't hit me. But yeah, what was that? That was almost 2 full magnum clips, and then nearly a ton of shotgun shells. Yeah, now I go for the shotgun again, the reload. I've only got 5 shells left. I hit him once again with the with the shell, and then we go and cut him one last time. And I think this is the killing blow. Yep, now he's going to collapse. I'm waiting for the quick time event. And it's done. And now comes probably the most frustrating part of the game, in my opinion. I hated this part. I hated it more than the elevator leading up to Salazar. I hated it more than any other section in this game that gave me a ton of frustration. The bugs are just the absolute worst. So you're going to see me manipulate the checkpoint a lot here. So I hope it's going to be entertaining for you. But yeah, I'm just going around now, checking to see what I can pick up. Any ammo and what have you. But yeah, guys, I'm really excited. Even though I'm very familiar with the editing software on the PS4, I'm excited for just an upgrade. I'm excited to use OBS to edit my videos on my new PC. I'm excited to record on the new PC so I don't have to worry about having a time limit on recording. So it might even be less editing. Because on the PS4, I believe the highest you can record is an hour. But I found myself doing that. When I found myself doing that, I found that the clips were not as high quality. So the highest amount of time that I have to record a clip is 30 minutes on the PS4. So every 30 minutes I have to remind myself to hit share and save video clip on the PS4. The advantage though is that I don't have to hit record prior to the gameplay. I can always hit record right after something that I'm satisfied with. That's probably the only advantage to OBS. But OBS can record everything though. That's the thing. Once you hit record, I can record everything and capture everything. So I'm hoping I can do that from here on out after this project is done. So, but we're on video 7 right now, and we've got 3 more videos to commentate, and then we'll be done with this run, and it'll be fully uploaded on YouTube, which is very exciting. So yeah, guys, what you're going to see here is I'm going to hit this switch, which is going to spawn in more creatures, just as in the castle, in the nest area, when they were flying up in the air, you can down them in one hit. So if they group up like that, it's very ideal, and that's exactly what we want. And when they're crawling like this, doing their sideways, MC Hammer crawl, it's not what we want, and we want them in the GTFO. So this is where usually you're going to use a shit ton of ammo. And I even throw an Incendiary Grenade too, because ain't nobody got time for that. And now I think this is where I go back to the entrance, so that way I can get a cheeky save. And luckily, look at this guy. Luckily I had the camera pointed away, which I later learned that this was a speedrunner's technique. So to point the camera away from these bugs means that they're gonna not aggro. Again, I'm sure there's more detail involved in that, but luckily I did that in that section just now, and that bug totally surpassed me and ignored me. So now I get the the checkpoint in, and we can go for switch number 2 that will allow us to open the door and get us out of this horrible cave. And yeah, folks, this is probably my least favorite area of the game. I even hate it more than the part where you have to break open the door on the island with Ashley, with the lever, and aka the lava pit room, because that was ultra frustrating for me. So now I'm going for the shotgun blasts, trying to down these creatures relatively fast as they're flying in the air. One, of course, is alive. And I'm just playing it cautious because I hate these guys with a passion. And look at that just now. I pressed the wrong button. I ended up pressing the button for the map instead of hitting square to kick. So you can imagine the butt-clenching moment I had just then. But luckily we made it and we're pressing on. It's just amazing how watching your own gameplay just brings up the same feelings that you experienced while you were playing. But yeah, there's one more annoying bug following after us as we're going for the second switch. And that's me totally missing with the shotgun because he was hovering over me. But now he's dead because he was flying in the air, and once he's flying in the air, you can one-shot him. So now I go for the switch. Now a whole horde of bugs is going to come after me, as scripted. So I'm waiting patiently for them to seek their doom. But during this part, you can see me lose impatience. And so I throw a flash grenade so that way I can get past this guy, and I realize, oh, there was only one guy there. So I could have probably just ended his life with the shotgun and gotten by no problem. So watch me run past these guys, and I'm going through the gate. What you're going to notice here is that they can't enter. This guy's, yes, he entered, he's lingering in front of me, so I'm going to equip the shotgun. But he's shaking his head. He can't make it. He can't make it this far because they're not allowed to enter this area, which is so nice. So no ammo needs to be wasted in this part. And I believe you get a checkpoint just as you enter this area. So even if you died to one of the smashers, you'll still reload over there, which is nice. But yeah, folks, that lever is essential because what it does is it stops the middle smasher from ending your life. And we can press on. And that's the cave behind us. The Cave of Wonders. And don't forget to pick up the treasure at the end of this. You'll get the royal insignia. And what you can do with that treasure is you can place it on the crown that you picked up before the vertigo battle. And that's the end of chapter 4-2. The next part is the real exciting part, folks. And that's the Minecart Ride, which a lot of speedrunners skip. And I can understand why they skip it, because it really does take a long time. And you really can't do anything in your power to speed up that section at all. So it makes a lot of sense why speedrunners find a way to glitch through it and skip it. But that's not what I'm going to do, folks, because this is not a glitched run. This is a run where I don't use glitches. It is a glitchless run. So, as I mentioned before, and having gone back and re-recorded the vertigo battle so that way I didn't have to use the glitch to make sure he runs into the door for the entire 4 minutes, you bet your ass this is going to be a glitchless run. So, we are pressing on. Ada's love note is on the cabin, but no need to pick it up because this is not a 100% run. This is not a pick up all the notes run. This is an OSP no damage run on professional, so we're not paying attention to any of that stuff. By the way, folks, during my attempts before this, I tried to mimic the speedrunner's technique, and I failed miserably because these two guys would always catch up to me. So what I did here instead is I kill these two men, as so, and I'm going to run past the entire crowd in front of the fire. So those two guys are down, luckily. And now I picked a grenade up so that way I can run a bit faster. And I'm trying to make sure these guys don't notice me. So be sure to run to the left up here, and inevitably they will see you as you're entering the cabin. It's just something that always happens, so you really have to be fast. And go for the crank, mash the crank as fast as possible, and the guys will eventually hop over the fence, but if you're quick enough, they won't grab you. Just like so. And now we've entered the underground temple area, which will lead us to the mines. A mine! A mine of Moria! But yeah, there's going to be 2 chainsaw guys in here. There's one at the top by the ladder, and there's going to be another one stationary at the bottom. But they're not going to pose any threat to us quite yet, because right now I'm going to focus on the goons that are around on the outside. There's a way to speedrun strat your way through this, because there's a lot of pathing that the AI has to do through this maze. So if you know where the bear traps are, which I do not. By the way, if you saw that, an axe just was thrown over that barrier, and it almost hit me. So that was complete RNG that it didn't hit me. Which is pretty hilarious. That was also very lucky as well. I don't like that you can only kick the villagers, by the way, when you bring them onto their knees. I wish you could suplex everybody in this game. But such are the mechanics, and we learn to live with it. That was also very lucky that the whip didn't get me. If this was the remake, the whip would have gotten me. Probably from across the room where that guy with the axe is standing up there by the door to the way out of the mine. Another lucky axe throw. I should have entered the lottery during this part of the game. But yeah, I'm using my knife. I'm trying to conserve ammo, because you're going to need a lot of ammo for the Minecart Ride, particularly shotgun ammo, because what you can do is you can preemptively shoot all the enemies standing on the ledge, so that way they fall off rather than jump onto the minecart. And unfortunately, the minecart is going to be in the next part of this run, in part 8. So we'll have to wait until then. But for now, you'll witness me walking slowly but surely between these bear traps when speedrunners can do it in probably less than 1 minute. But I am not a speedrun, folks. I am not a speedrunner. And instead, we're just going for the no damage. But yeah, he goes down, and I check the tomb over here to get some more goodies, because I like to pick up the goodies in this game. Especially goodies that you don't have to shoot down from the ceiling and waste ammo. So yeah, I'm just checking around for more ammo. If I can find any grenades, that's always a good thing. And I don't believe there are any more enemies here apart from the guy with the torch up there on the stairs. So I'm just hitting the bear traps so that way they deactivate in case I need to run back here. And you can hear the chainsaw guys in there. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this guy out, because he's going to be in our way. And luckily that happened, which is very interesting. I guess Leon carries some gasoline on his shoe, so whenever he kicks somebody, it erupts them into flame. But no, I think the guy was about to blow on the torch, and once he did that, while I was kicking him, it erupted him into flame, so... But yeah, flames at 60 frames per second is very valuable and very nuclear. Same with the incendiary grenades. If you throw an incendiary grenade at 60 frames per second, it does more DPS than it would at 30 frames. And I don't know why that is, but it's just how the game runs. If I had a background in game design, I could probably tell you the specifics of it, but I don't. So yeah, here we go. There's the chainsaw dude at the bottom. I'm checking around, making sure I'm clear. And I equip the shotgun, which only has 4 shells, by the way. Which is going to be very bad for the minecart section. I take down that guy. I make a break for the key, which is on this pedestal over here. And then I don't bother with the enemies there. Luckily I get both of them with one shot. That was beautiful, because this madame is at the bottom of the staircase. And luckily I'm able to pass these guys, and then I have a free route to the exit. Because I don't want to waste my ammo on these guys, and not that I have a ton of ammo anyways. But yeah, the enemies do not stop here, by the way, folks. So keep running. Keep running and activate the trap, because the trap will close this door with a cage over it. And nobody will be able to enter. So what I do first here is I throw a flash grenade, because it takes out the bugs at the bottom, the parasites. So they won't give us any trouble while we're aiming for the buttons up here. Maybe if I felt more comfortable with the pistol, I'd be able to do it with the pistol and kill the bugs, but I do not. And luckily there's some shotgun shells there to help soothe me, because I am out completely at this point. And yeah, folks, now we're just getting ready for the Minecart Ride, which will be, unfortunately, in the next video. And I'm very low in ammo at this point, and I do not want to waste a rocket launcher, and I do not want to waste any more magnum ammo, which I believe I only have 1 magnum shot, if I remember correctly. But anyway, folks, I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and you all take care now.